Bars in a raid, man, I go hard like Santan.
Ooh, hey! Welcome to this week's episode of Kop End Fracas, powered by Touchline Media Group. I am your host, Krish, and today I am joined by the Avengers of Kop End. I have got Fahi, Harold, and Julian to talk about all things LFC on the lead up to our first game of the season against Norwich. Football is back, the stadiums are packed, and the Reds look raring to go. Gentlemen, how are you all doing this fine Tuesday evening as we record?
Hello, brother Krish. I'm glad to be back.
Glad to have you back.
It's been a while, man. It's been a while.
I mean, a lot has changed in Fahi's life since he's left. You know,
it has, man. I've got Taylor. He's growing a bit of a beard, as you can see. New backdrop. Other things as well, you know. But we don't talk about that stuff.
We don't talk about that stuff. This is then that kind of pod, really, is it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, all good, man. It's been a while. Glad to be back.
No, glad to have you back. One of the big dogs has returned back to the yard, and he's been doing a bit of flogging recently, which is always good to see. When he's, Fahi on top form when he's flogging people it's like art, really. You know what I mean? It's just good to see. You can take a whole evening and enjoy it. Really, it's a really good art form. You know,
Harold knows that feeling, but you know,
you pay good money to see it. Speaking of Harold, we're going to find out how he is now. Harold, how are you doing, brother?
Hello, guys. I'm not bad, thank you very much. I'm not bad at all. How are you, Krish? How's life?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good. Work trying to flog me, but as usual, we move. And we enjoy the finer things. Yeah. So
clearly, I can see that you are enjoying the.
I knew that was coming. I did debate even wearing this.
Say nothing, brother. Do your thing. Shine, brother, shine.
July was a good month. That's all I'll say. Julian, how are you doing, sir?
I'm fine, thank you, man. Yeah, I'm not doing as good as you, though. You just come casually on the pod with a Palms Angels t-shirt. I'm not that rich to afford those kind of designer wears, but, you know, I get by, man. You know, life is life, innit? You know, just take it one week at a time.
Drippy.
The dangers of getting paid weekly. So
yeah, it's insane. It's insane what people do with their wealth. You know,
this is why I always wear the wrestling t-shirts. Of course, if you are watching us lovely gentlemen on the YouTube, please do hit subscribe and click the little alert button to be notified as soon as all of the fantastic content from not only ourselves but the remainder of the Touchline Media Group go live on the channel. And of course, the season being back means that the Kop End Fracas Patreon page is bound to be booming. We were a little quiet towards the end of July because, quite frankly, there wasn't that much to talk about. And you know how we do. We only want to give you the finest, the greatest, the best content that we can possibly give you. And we had a little bit of a planning session over the weekend where we kind of came up with what we're going to do for the first month of the season and beyond. And let me tell you, just £3 a month, you guys are going to be spoilt beyond all belief. We've got about 7 shows scheduled for just the next week. So, I mean, come on, for £3. I mean, just to see my lovely face, Fahi's lovely face, Julian's lovely face, Harold's lovely face. If you're a fan of Mike, if you're a fan of Peter, if you're a fan of Ellis, if you're a fan of everyone on the Touchline, on the Kop End network, this is the place to be. www.patreon.com/Kop End Fracas and subscribe today. But without further ado, let's get stuck into this week's main episode of Kop End. 2 back-to-back games for the Reds to close off pre-season. A 1-1 draw against Athletic Bilbao and a 3-1 win against Osasuna, which I made the joke yesterday was Spanish for butcher, considering how they were trying to murder Curtis Jones, which was just like the most random beef I've ever seen in my entire life. Fahi, I'll come to you first. Long time. We want to get your views on things, brother. Watching both pre-season games, what are the kind of key takeaways that you've had from both 90 minutes from a mixed assortment of teams, really? Because there's first team players in each. There's kind of guys you have as role players in both of them as well. So what have been your big takeaways from both these games?
All right, so game 1, my takeaway was Mo Salah's had a shave, which was a bit surprising. clearly he's starting the new season fresh. So I don't know what that means, but maybe he means serious business.
He does like that though. For you remember last year, he got that Shoreditch trim that you always tried to have at the start of last year. He got the shaved sides and that. So maybe a sign of things to come.
His hairline is mad though. I can't lie, bro.
Julian.
Yeah.
Don't talk about that, brother. Yeah.
Nah. I saw it yesterday.
Him,
even my girlfriend, when she was watching it on Saturday, was like, "Oh my god." She's like, he didn't even look like this last season. Like his hairline is moving nuts. But that's a sign of greatness though, because whenever a player loses their hairline, they're just aging like fine wine. So let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would know that hairlines, isn't it?
Yeah. Fahi, show us top of your head right now. Show us the top of your head right now. Yeah, that's what I thought.
And of course, there are some of us among us, like writer on Twitter, who appear to be bald, but then appear with hair some days. So that's weird, isn't it?
Hey, he's a criminal. Nah. When we always say, bro, if you voluntarily go bald, then you can actually have a hairline. You can do dark things in life, like you're a criminal mastermind. Because I don't know why you put yourself through that.
Yeah, no, really and truly, from game one, going back to it, yeah. The only person that's really, really impressed me from the main 11 this preseason has been Mane, and Mane just looks bang on it yet again. So I'm really, really excited to see him on Saturday. Pause. It should be good against Norwich. Harold, man, why are you rolling your eyes? But yeah, I'm excited to see Mane. From game 2, yesterday's one, again, that was obviously much more exciting to watch, more free flow, and I thought Minamino was on fire. Lord knows what was in his battery pack, but he was loving life. Ox was enjoying himself. Ben Woodburn, of all people, seems to be, I don't know what's going on there, but, he seems to be balling out in pre-season as well. And Konate obviously has been really impressive this preseason. Really enjoyed watching him play. He's been fast, and some of his passing, his passing ability is one thing a lot of people didn't pick up on. But you saw yesterday some of the passes he made. He made about 3 or 4 similar, and he just cuts through defenses so well. So when we play opposition with high lines, I think Konate can cause some serious damage.
100%. One of the things I did notice from yesterday's kind of performance was with Fabinho kind of in the 6th role as opposed to when Milner was in that role. You saw the centre backs being able to afford a little bit more liberty with how they were, kind of being on the ball, taking a little bit more risks and trying those kind of more ambitious passes as they were. Julian, I'll come to you. One of the people that Fahy did mention was Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. And in pretty much all of these preseason games, obviously he's been operating as number 9, some of them, too much of our chagrin, as we don't want that. We want, someone to kind of come in and be the backup for that role. But it was interesting, as he was dropped more deeper into midfield, he looked so much more on it and just looking to try and be the Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain that we kind of saw towards that 17-18 season.
Yeah, I definitely feel like he got a bad rap. Oh, he's been getting a bad rap, especially by us fans. He's come off of 2, I would say, big injuries since that 17-18 season, and has never really found the opportunity to find a run of games for him to find form, for him to be the best version of himself that he can be. So I definitely feel like this season, especially with the with Wijnaldum going, it looks like both Keita and Ox will be given a good run of games to kind of get form. Because I don't feel like let's be honest, even as rubbish as we feel like Ox has been when he's come on, he hasn't really been given a good amount of games to actually really prove that he's the player that that we want in our starting 11. So it'll be exciting to see, man. I feel like this season the players are going to get their chances. These midfielders will get their chances. I feel like we're definitely going to be a lot more open with the midfielders that we have. I don't feel like we can rely on our centre mids chasing fullbacks like we've been relying on in the past few years, because to get the best out of the quality that we have, in midfield. We will need to be a very positive team. But Keita is showing great signs of that, especially. I want to big him up. He's been able to get the defensive side down as well during this preseason from what I've seen. Maybe, I'm just getting gassed and it's only preseason, but he seems like he's actually, going into tackles, actually starting the press as opposed to trying to be a part of it, which is really good. He's actually tackling players and making the correct passes and getting the ball moving into the areas that it needs to be. So big season for Ox and Keita. We'll need to see what they've got, and I'm looking forward to it.
Well put. Harold, I'm going to come to you on the Keita point that Julian just said there. In the games that we've seen him be a lot more robust, and he looks like he's got a lot of trust in himself and his body. He's kind of pulled off what is needed from a Liverpool midfielder. I know. Even at this man's wedding, we were sitting at the table just pausing literally everything in possible sight. So we'll talk about that later on. But yes, Naby Keita. Are you buying into it? This is what I want to know, Harold, from you. I trust your opinion amongst a lot of people, and I want to know: are you buying in to the hype that we've seen from this preseason, or are you not being sucked in yet again, or are you rebuking this devil and waiting to see what comes?
You know what? Time truly is the healer of everything, isn't it? Like you give us a while to not forget, but just to give us enough of a gap to be like, you know what? I wouldn't be too adverse to see you come back playing so well. Look, he ain't gonna fool me in it. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, like I'm gonna be bullish on this because I've had enough. Okay, we've been looking for that creative spark of midfielder. We thought he would be here. He showed some few glimpses, particularly against Crystal Palace, Bournemouth, etc. However, he hasn't strung together a few games. So that is all what I'm asking. Preseason is all well and good, but I need to remember as I'm watching these games not to get too carried away because it is preseason, right? They're not competitive fixtures, even though Osasuna wanted to make it though as if it was a very competitive game for Curtis Jones, as you were saying, Chris. But so what I will say is I'm impressed by what I've seen. However, you're not going to fool me, brother. You can do this every preseason if you like. I need to see it. Just give me 5 Premier League games in a row, and then I'm beginning to not fully believe you, but begin to take you a bit more seriously. Right now, if he was a share option, listen, I'm saying, I'll pass, my brother. But I could be convinced. Just give me a few games, string some games together, and play. But what I will say is he's looked brilliant. And what the part that's impressed me the most is how robust he's been, particularly in challenges. That's what we haven't seen. Every time he shows an overzealousness to get into a tackle, he just falls to the ground holding his back or his ankle or his knee or his thigh or his chest or every part of his body seems to be broken. We start questioning his age. But that's what I'm fortunate to see. And I don't think that's just down to preseason. So I'll give him his props for that. However,
it's fine doing that in 30-minute matches, man. It's fine doing that in 30-minute matches, and it is what it is. I'm on to that guy. He's done. Get him out.
You think so, buddy? Nah, that's harsh.
I'm done with him. I'm done.
It's a redemption season.
I don't think he deserves another chance, but because of the way we move transfer-wise, he's going to get another chance.
Bro, Naby Keita is like XRP/Ripple. That is what Naby Keita is, yeah? Ripple sold man dreams. Told everyone, buy into us, man. Buy some Ripple. We're gonna blow, bruv.
We're gonna bust that case as well. We got that lawsuit. We're gonna bust it. Don't worry.
Brother, this is what I mean. That is Naby Keita, mate. And look, it's 2021. What's happening? Ripple's still the same. Naby Keita's still the same, man. Allow it. Done.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, look, you can't, even if someone is for a Naby Keita, say like a Marco, who is, I don't know, the biggest optimist of a Liverpool fan I've ever seen in my life. Even if he's around and he's saying that, you can't really say anything back to Fahy to retaliate. It's nothing you can say back to that. What are his marquee performances?
Because also, I'm not saying he doesn't have the ability, because he does. It's clear as day he's got the ability, but we're not getting to see it. So what do you say to that?
It's more that we're not seeing it on a consistent basis, like Harold says. If we saw it across 5 straight games,
just 5,
5.
I'm asking too much. Just give me a month worth of not even you playing well, just being available to play a 60-minute game.
That would be a great
games
start.
in a row.
That would honestly be a great start, man. Like availability is one of the biggest attributes in football. Like we get all of these guys that are great footballers, but if they're not available week in, week out to show that quality, it doesn't really matter, does it? So that's where Naby Keita is right now. He needs to get games, man. I think this season he has to. I honestly I honestly don't want to see Milner like have more than 5 games.
Milner should not be playing more than Keita. If he's Milner playing more than Keita,
that's when there's big problems. I don't want to see Milner like if even when the season gets sticky, if I see Milner instead of Ox and Naby, I'm gonna be really, really, really angry.
You have to look at them sideways. It's like, what is going on with you guys?
Yeah,
you have to. But I think for Ox, I've got more time for him because some very unfortunate injuries, and he was playing well. He's had a few stretch of games, but he has played well for us, particularly in that Champions League campaign 17-18, and I'll give him his flowers for that. Now, and then he did put in that small. He put in that. He scored a really good goal against Burnley. I think I said it last time. And it gassed me. That left foot there, I was like, yo, this is okay, Ox, sorry. And I thought he was washed. And then he's had a few decent flights, a few decent shots in preseason. I was like, all right, cool, brother. Like he scored a goal against Hertha Berlin. I was like, all right, okay, fine. Now this is a season where it's literally make or break, and I think it's bigger for him. I think it's his career, like overall, because he wanted a move from Arsenal. He wanted to play in midfield. He moved to Liverpool, ends up winning the league and Champions League. He's not really a big part of it in any sense. He's not really a part of it at all, actually. So now it's all about, okay, can I be an actual cog in a winning machine? So I think it's big for him personally.
For Ox, it seems like he's a position where you are 6 months away from potentially playing for West Ham.
Yeah,
I think this is a season where Klopp is you know what, I want to say this, but then look at how we're struggling to sell players. But I honestly feel like this is a season where Klopp is actually going to give players chances and be like, especially Ox and Keita. If you don't,
he always does though, Julian.
Mm-mm.
You don't think he does give them a chance?
No.
Last season and the season before, I don't think he gave them a fair shot.
Yeah, no, I think Julian's right.
Yeah, I would caveat by saying, look, towards the end of last season where we saw everyone be available, I think the situation was that dire where we just need to consistently put the same guys out there and play to this one specific rigid way. It was a bit mad to kind of start chopping and changing things out. But
then he done that in the Champions League quarterfinal, though, which is what's crazy. Like he set Keita up. Like I felt like there were times, especially not even this season. The season I just went, the season before, where we was comfortably ahead or comfortably in like a good stride where Keita could have played. But then again, I feel like Keita, that was more Keita than it was Klopp being stubborn and not playing him. I felt like Keita.
But why do you think we're in a good stride? Some might argue because he wasn't playing.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's because he wasn't playing. I would say it's because we're a great team, but I wouldn't say it's because he wasn't playing.
Yeah, one thing though, to defend Naby, one thing I will say is the stats. If you are a stat man, I'm not. I like to follow stats, but I also like to look at the eye test. But if the stats do show that when Naby plays, we do have better performances.
It's true. Yeah, we are a lot more positive when Naby's on the pitch. A lot more positive.
Yeah. But I do think, a lot of Naby's problems, though. Sorry, Harold. A lot of Naby's problems are down to Klopp. I don't think Klopp has used him properly since he's come in. I think, obviously, Klopp has been let down by injuries, but there have been times where he could reintegrate Keita, and he didn't do it. And I think that's been to the detriment of Keita's actual form.
I personally think Keita's had enough chances to prove that he can be a starter in this team, and he hasn't taken any of them. Fair enough, there are times where he could have even more chances than he deserved to be put back into the team, albeit undeservedly, like I prefixed. But I'm not putting that on Klopp. I'm really not. Actually, no, I say that that's a lie. That's actually a lie, because there was a spell last year where we couldn't do anything, and Keita didn't play. And you know what? I'll give you that. Yeah. But at that point, honestly, like he had already, bro. Don't you remember when we were calling him Biscuit, right? When we kept calling him this and that, and he said, "Oh, let's sell him. It's enough." bro, this was 2020. This was 2020, if I'm not mistaken, or even 2019.
Nah,
We were like, okay,
this is 2019, man.
yeah, there we go. This is 2019, and there was points where we were like, okay, you know what? You said I'm giving him till December 19. You remember that?
Yeah.
And he failed then.
Yeah.
So now you're saying that he should have been reintegrated then. It's like, okay,
I'm not saying that. I'm not. But what I will say is, Klopp has had ample opportunity to try and reintegrate Naby into the team properly and settle him down. Because there's one thing people say a lot with Naby is, he's just not played enough. He's not been available enough. But if you actually look into the numbers, there have been plenty of occasions where he actually has been available and just hasn't been used. Now, I don't know what reason that is. Is it because he's not fully fit? But if that's the case, try and get him fit. Like, somewhere something isn't right, because it's not just a case of Naby's just been injured and then he's not played and then he comes back and he's playing. Because when he comes back, he doesn't play.
That's my biggest problem as well. Like, I understood when, even myself, I would call him a biscuit, and I would say that he's a crock and he's always on the medical table. But there were, especially even in the 2019-2020 season, where I felt like he could have definitely been given some chances. He was on the bench a lot, and the excuse was, Klopp just picked him, but he's not ready. I don't buy that, man. Like, if a player's going to be on the bench, I believe they are at least ready to actually go on the pitch. And there were even times where, for example, Klopp would not make a sub until like the 75th minute, and that sub will be Milner for Henderson or Milner for Wijnaldum, and Naby will just still be on the bench, and then he'll do God knows what else. So I definitely feel like.
Julian, let me ask you a question, Julian. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you had a boy who said to you that, why don't you ever invite me to these things? Let me roll. And then every time you invite him, he says, bro, something came up. I can't make it, bro. Like, I'm so sorry. But every time you go somewhere, he sees it on your story, like, why didn't you invite me? You're like, because the last 4 or 5 times you haven't rolled. Bro, that's the same with Klopp. He has trust issues with Naby Keita. Is one thing. I don't think he's to the point where he's like, I don't think he can last 15 minutes. I think he knows he can last 15 minutes. It's now a question of, who deserves this 15 minutes? Who do I want to use for the future games? Because I know they're not going to fail on me. James Milner. Unfortunately, that's been the answer. And more time that he's been proven right, to be honest with you, because the times he does play, even in cup games, he'll get injured. Like, that's the issue. And we know how Klopp is. He's always about trust. How many times do we speak about the curious case of Gini Wijnaldum? It's always about trust. Wijnaldum would always be the name on the team sheet because he knows he can rely on him. He knows he's going to get out of him. With Naby Keita, he has no idea. And those enigmatic, like spur of the moment, like impromptu type of players, then Klopp is like, yo, I'd rather stay away from him. And that's, whether you agree with it or not, that's how he's always been.
Fair. I got no disputes. I don't ride out. I'm not going to ride out for Naby. He's not done enough for me to dispute and fight his case. When you actually made some very good and truthful points as well. So yeah, for sure.
Someone who is not riding out for Naby is Mark, and he's got a bet at the moment with Fahy. The content of this bet, just to inform listeners, is absolutely insane.
Just so I can explain to the listeners, I asked 3 times in that chat, are you sure this is what you were saying? Because I couldn't believe he was actually willing to put money down on this. But yes, go on, Chris.
I even interpreted this in a different way. And then he corrected me to the original point. And the way I interpreted it would have been more in his favour. So the bet is as follows, that in the league only, so this is not accounting for any League Cup, FA Cup or Champions League scenarios, or God forbid Europa League, the Ox and Naby will have a combined, by the way, 10 goals and 10 assists. Now, you're probably sitting there, listener, thinking, do you mean 10 GA between them? No. 10 goals, singular. 10 assists, singular, between 2 men. Again, as
is this just in the league?
Just in the league.
So if Ox gets 5 goals, 5 assists, Naby gets 5 goals, 5 assists, then Fahy loses the bet.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It sounds like a Marco bet. Like honestly, guys, like don't be shocked by this. Like this is who Marco is. If you don't know who he is, listeners, this is who Marco is. If there's anything to epitomize a person, it's this bet.
Call me crazy, but this bet could have some legs. I'm not going to count Marco out.
You lot are bad. These guys can't even put 30 games between them on the pitch, and you're telling me they're going to have 10 goals and 10 assists.
It's why I've captained to only have 2 bets in the actual group at the moment. Any more than that, I think would be suicide.
You needed to take my Firmino bet. He's a coward, bruv. Marco's a coward, man. I don't know why he didn't say that.
I think he said yes. No, Julian, if you read back in the chat, he said yes, bro.
No, he didn't. He said no. Peter.
Trust, you know, I'll find out. I'll send it to you. Don't worry.
He needs to say that bet, man. There's no way that brother's getting 15 goals.
By the way, guys, I just did a quick stat check on Naby, and it's nothing like those. It's nothing like those XG or whatever the X's are. Anyway, it's not
an annex stat.
Yeah. There's no annex stats. Nothing like that. Look, so just on Naby Keita, just on the topic of his availability. Yeah, so he's played about 2,700 Premier League minutes for us. Yeah, probably wondering what the hell does that mean. Okay, that is 30 Premier League games since he joined Liverpool. Yeah. So he's played 30 Premier League full games since 2018, 2019 when he joined Liverpool. In those times, there's been how many games available? That's 3 seasons, 18, 19, 19, 20, 20, 21. That is 114 games. So he's played 30 out of 114 games where he's actually played the full 90 minutes. Guys, that's 26% for a £50 million midfielder, and you're telling me he hasn't got enough chances. Do not piss me off.
But again, based on that stat, what I'm trying to say is, you're saying how many games he started or whatever. There has been ample opportunity for Klopp to play him more, and Klopp did not do it.
Correct. And my stat can't give you that moment, but I can tell you up until the 2,000 minute mark, that brother was not available. Okay, I can tell you that at least.
Yo, I don't even know why I'm defending him. I'm not even trying to defend him. I'm done with it.
It's a curious case. It's a curious case because there's definitely arguments on both sides, because I definitely feel like Klopp, he could have trusted him, and as Harold said, maybe Klopp just didn't trust him. And I mentioned that as well. Like, if you just don't trust him, I'd rather you not put him on the bench, because for the price that we paid for him, like, just leave him off the bench and just don't play him. Because even then, there were times where he could have, like, again, come off the bench and maybe helped out, added a bit of dynamism. Yeah. So, yeah, man, it's a curious case, but we'll have to see. This season is a redemption season for them both.
I think he'll definitely get opportunities this year, mind you. I think he'll definitely get opportunities. So if there's anyone who's and ahhing a bit, maybe like Mike, and they have some like Mark, and they have some belief in him still. This is the perfect season for you to see if your predictions have been vindicated.
He's definitely going to get opportunities. Ox is definitely going to get opportunities as well.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a lot of chopping and changing midfield-wise for these first 3 games. I think he will try and get Ox on the pitch as much as possible, just from how he's been playing, really. I think he's really impressed, me in particular, because he's one of those players that you want to do well, just because obviously you see how hard he works, and, he's got a very likable quality about him, and you just want him to do well.
Also, he shoots.
As a player, yeah.
The amount of times in that Osasuna game yesterday, where he was about 25, 30 yards out, and he was like, yeah, I've got this.
Bro, just shoot, bro.
As a player, if he refines his skills and gets it together, he can be such a good weapon, because he's someone that will actually add something different to the team. He's not like our other midfielders. He's not basically the most technical. He's not the most, keep the ball, but
he's our only midfielder. Sorry to interrupt, Julian. He's our only midfielder at the moment who can break the lines.
Yeah.
Correct.
I want to say Keita, but yeah.
My only problem with Ox, and it's been even when he was on form with us, is his final ball. That is it. And I promise you it will never be anything else. And if he can get that to that point, that's success to me, because he was playing some good football then. That's been my only problem with him. Because he shoots the ball very well and he passes very well, he just doesn't know when to do so and so. He doesn't even need to pass so well, because he's got such good athletic abilities in places where he can just play a really quick, short inside pass or a reverse ball. It's really easy. Just needs to focus on that last pass. But if we can get to the part where he is back at that level, that 17-18 level, then I think that's a huge success for me.
100%. Just gonna do a quick round robin. You midfield for Norwich, Fahy. Who are you picking? I'm assuming you're gonna have Fabinho as the 6.
Yeah, Fabinho has to come. The thing is, I don't want to rush Fabinho back.
No, rush him.
He hardly played.
He looked bloody good
I
yesterday.
don't want to see Milner in the 6, and I feel like Klopp is the kind of guy that will end up doing that.
What?
So,
You ain't played the 6?
Bruv, don't.
Yeah.
Now, I think there's a possibility of Milner playing, but I don't think it's in the 6. I think it's on the left-hand side of that midfield too.
To protect Tsimikas.
To protect Tsimikas, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, midfield. You got to go with Fab, Keita, and Thiago, in my opinion. But then Thiago's also not fit, so fucking hell, you left with Fab, Keita.
Hendo?
Nah, Hendo's just come back, so
Yeah,
he's not fit either. So what are you going with?
It's Milner,
Fab,
innit?
Keita, Ox.
No way. Keita and Ox!
Well, then again, back to Chris's point, Milner's probably going to play to protect Tsimikas. So it's got to be Fab, Keita, and Milner.
Yeah, it will be.
Yeah, and if Keita doesn't start, then it'd be Jones. But I think Keita will start. I think my question mark's more around Fab. If Fab will be rushed back, but I feel like it will be.
It's too soon, in my opinion.
If there's ever a game, I think to play him, and it probably would be Norwich.
First game of the season, right?
He looks great, mate. Just saying.
I don't disagree. He's been good.
Me neither. I think my Harvey Elliott thing at the moment is, so we're going to talk about transfers in a little bit, and there's one guy who is looking like he's going to leave. I think Harvey Elliott will replace that guy and the ideology of what he's supposed to do within the 11. So let's say 30 minutes left in the game, legs are tiring, you bring Harvey Elliott on, you kind of play him on the right-hand side of that midfield 3. Harvey Elliott to Naby, not Naby, Harvey Elliott to Mo in that kind of triangle with Trent as well. That's long. You don't want to see that if you're a defender.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what? You're probably right, actually. No, you are. Not probably. I think you're right.
I actually feel like Harvey Elliott is going to get more of a look in this season than Curtis Jones. You know, the way Klopp has been using him, I feel like Harvey Elliott is a lot more adaptable. I feel like he can play in the number 6 role. No, not number 6 role. Sorry, the number 8 role. While also playing on the wing. I also feel like, especially if God forbid injuries happen, Harvey Elliott would definitely be a great option on the right, while one of the maybe Joe plays in the middle. He's definitely someone that can link up well with our team. With it looks like any player, he links up well. He can find a pass. He's actually someone that drives forward with the ball and actually takes risks, which is not what I feel like a lot of our wingers and centre mids do. And Jones, for some reason, I don't know, he feels like I definitely feel like since around February, he's kind of played within his shell a lot. I don't know if that's by design, but that's maybe because Klopp maybe he had one bad game and then Klopp took him off and kind of sidelined him for a bit. But he's kind of played within his shell a bit, and I feel like Harvey Elliott's time at Blackburn has definitely made him have a lot more confidence within himself to actually play in a big man's league. So I personally see Harvey Elliott getting more time than Curtis Jones this year.
It's really interesting when you said that yesterday, by the way, because I think between the both of them, they probably end up getting 20 appearances for Liverpool this season. And if you kind of look at it from Curtis Jones' point of view, do you think 20 appearances is enough? But again, given the amount of midfielders that we do have at the moment, it's a bit of a tricky one. So what do you do? What do you do?
I feel like Curtis Jones, 20 games, I don't know, man. I don't feel like that's enough for him. He played 34 last season, but a lot of them were off the bench, if we're being honest. That's why when Ellis brought up he played 34 games, it felt like it didn't feel like it. 34 games is a lot of games in a season, and for how we kind of felt like his season petered out, it kind of just reflects at how much he was being utilized in those 34 games, because he didn't really leave a lasting impact, especially at the tail end of the season, for us to be like, yeah, he got a real grasp of how we play, and going forward, he's a mainstay in the team.
Because he's interesting as well. What I will say, and Harold, I'll kind of pivot to you on this as well. When we played Ajax at home in the Champions League, Curtis Jones played that game and he played bloody well. One of the other midfielders who did play in that game from an Ajax point of view was Ryan Gravenberch. And that is someone that we would more than likely have as a midfield option if we have the chance to bring you into the club. So it's interesting to see that Curtis Jones was playing at a level where we kind of think that was better than a potential signing. So what do you think he has to do to kind of be more of a consistent rotational option this season? Because we all saw it last season, the maturity that we lauded about a lot on this pod, probably more than others, and just how kind of he can adapt his game from a defensive point of view, but also be a bit more attacking as well.
I can tell you, I think he needs to stop playing within himself. The last time we went on a massive run where we didn't see Curtis Jones, and that came right after we played Chelsea when we lost. Was it 1-0? I think it was, to Chelsea. Mason Mount goal. I mean, that was in March, beginning of March, I believe that was. And that was the last time we saw Curtis Jones. He got hooked that game, and we didn't see him for ages. And everyone thought he was injured. He was left out the squad and everything. He wasn't injured. He came back towards right at the end of the season. I honestly can't tell you. I think it might have been the penultimate game, or maybe the third to last game. And that's a good stint. So we're talking about at least a month and a half worth of football. He wasn't playing for, and I think that came about as there's times whenever we applaud Curtis Jones, it's because he is expressive and showing us that what's the word? I guess he's a bit of flair, a bit of cockiness that he has, and I think you can get that about him. Like when we saw the videos of him talking to Harvey Elliott, trying to shut up, this and that. Like he's got a bit of a bite about him, right? And I think he shows that in his playing ability. But there's times where he goes within himself and just says, okay, you know what? I'm just going to do the very simple things, just pass it back here and there, almost quite not too dissimilar from what we saw from Declan Rice for England, right? Very, very negative football. And that's not who he is. Fortunately, he has go on.
But I would say in his defense, he probably
instructions. Yeah, bro. Listen, yeah. I'm saying though, there are times where he's clearly been brought on to be an effect, not to be that cog who just continues to pass things around, just keeps things going. No, because he isn't that type of player. In my opinion, in my opinion, he's meant to be a difference maker. Someone who's going to have a bit different to our usual engine midfielder that Klopp loves. So whenever he does that, I always find that's when Klopp is like, you know what. I'm gonna get you out of the team, but he's in his defense, Curtis Jones' defense. His game against Chelsea didn't warrant him being out the side for as long as it did. We were like, okay, where's Curtis Jones now? Like this isn't deserved. Like it didn't make sense. It didn't add up in my honest opinion. So I think a couple things. I think he just needs some more time, because Klopp is clearly someone who just takes him time to build a trust with a certain player, particularly a young player. Like we saw, look at how Trent was when he was coming through. We saw Gomez there. We saw Matip playing right back at certain times. Like it happens, you know. So it's going even when it doesn't go so well, and Trent was playing awfully, he had Nico come in and put in an even worse performance than Trent. So it goes to show, like, even if you cemented your position, you're still never safe, particularly if you're a younger player. I don't know why Klopp doesn't. Maybe he's just trying to defend it. But Fahy, what do you think?
Yeah, I think when it comes to Curtis Jones, right, last season was the season where he was supposed to kick on, but unfortunately, things happened in the team where he didn't have any stability around him. Now, if he had, the expected players around him, then it would never have been an issue, I don't think. I don't think we would have the complaints that we have currently. I think you need to understand everything was chopping and changing. We didn't even know what midfield we were going at with, let alone the defence. And I think it impacted his game because he wasn't able to express himself the way he could, because it was more a case of retain possession, play it safe, don't do too much, because if we lose the ball and they go out our defenders, it's game over. And it was unfair on him because he didn't get to have the season he needed to kick on. But I'm hopeful this season. And I don't have a lot of stock in him, but I do rate him as a player. I like what I've seen. I'm hopeful that this season, because there's going to be more stability around him, he will be able to kick on and we'll be able to see the Curtis Jones that we do rate and we look forward to seeing.
I think it's dead difficult to play in Liverpool's midfield at the best of times. And it's even more difficult when you don't have what you'd assume he would be playing alongside in last season with Fabinho and Henderson. So that just makes the task even more difficult, like you said there, Fahy. I want to come on to Liverpool's attack and two players in particular. I think we can all kind of agree that Sadio Mane has looked a lot more confident within himself. He's a lot more confident in his body. Thankfully, his first touch is still a little bit higgy, but he knows that he can get it back and take on a defender as opposed to just standing there and thinking, fucking hell, what's going on here? Mo Salah looks like he's normal Mo Salah self. Looks like he's going to try and bag 30 goals again, which we'd love to see. It's what we expect at this point, man. Not that Barry Kane fraud in Tottenham, who is angling for a move. Oh, Mr. Levy, can I leave? Oh, please. I want to talk about two players in particular, and I think they can kind of create a very symbiotic relationship between themselves and get the most optimal performance out of Liverpool's number 9 position. That is Diogo Jota, and that is Roberto Firmino. Now, I think you'd be safe to say that Roberto Firmino does not have the most consistent run of games in him. Pains me to say it, but it's true. You probably think he has one good game in every 3? Fair to say?
I think. Wait,
fine. Because the listeners who can't hear, just listen on Spotify or whatever. Look, Julian just put up his hand and said 5. Yeah, just put up his hand. I was going to say 4. He's saying Firmino has one good game in every 5. Anyway, sorry.
I think Chris is quite a nasty guy. Number 1. That would mean he had at least 13 good performances last season in the league. It's tight. I think what helped him was the last 7 games because he performed really well in the last 7 games. So
he's fucking good, wasn't he?
You know what? It does bump up his average, and Chris may be able to sneak that one in.
I mean, it would be even more nasty of me to say he was dancing on people's heads at Old Trafford. So
he was, but man. 1 in 5
River dancing.
I'll be honest, 1 in 5 was even generous for me.
Facts.
That was even generous.
Yeah, no, you two are taking the piss. You two are taking the piss, man. I'll say 1 in 4. I'm not saying 1 in 5.
No, honestly, you know what? Yeah, he's honestly had long stretches of not performing well, and I mean a good month and a half before we even see a goal or an assist at certain times.
Last year was really bad, no, Chris. The
year before was really bad.
But last year was a year that he was so bad. Even the top red journalists were like, you know what? Is it time we think about Bobby Firmino?
They sold their stock, man. They're done.
They were like, okay, yo, what is actually going on with this guy?
He was doing the same thing he was doing last season. It's just that now everyone just had enough. Trust me. If you look at his stats, it's around the same. I think he even got more goals the season before.
No, Julian. But the thing is, it was up to a certain point, though. It was up to a certain point. Because if you remember, 1920, he was doing well towards the end of 2019. He even got the winner when we went abroad to go win the Club World Cup, whatever it's called.
No more for 2 months.
Yeah, but hear me out. And he was all right. So it's all right doing that until then. This season round, if you start badly and you don't start playing well until April, that is a mazzoline. And we just lost 6 games at home in a row.
Do you know what annoys me the most about Firmino as well? In between him playing shit, in this long run of him playing shit, you have 1 or 2 games where he absolutely balls out. You have a game like Tottenham where he just bags and he's an absolute menace, and then he'll just go back to being shit again. It's jarring.
Well, this is going back to the point I'm going to make. And if you say, let's put it at 1 of 4, you've got Jota who's shown he's robust. Now I'm saying 4. You can fuck off. Jota's shown enough robustness in the number 9 role to justify, I'd say, starting kind of week in, week out above Firmino now. And I think it helps both of them out in terms of the opportunity they produce for each other. So in big games, we can kind of assume that Firmino will be playing. A more well-rested Firmino, a more mentally aware Firmino gives you more performances and will perform better across the part of the season. It also allows Jota to be in more positions where he can bag and get a better relationship with the front three. Do you think this is sustainable for the remainder of the season, Fahy? I'll come to you first and foremost.
One thing I want to pick up on what you just said, you said we'd be under the assumption that Jota would play the other games and then Firmino would start the big games. But why should Firmino start the big games? For what reason? Again, I'm not trying to do a Julian and just shit with Firmino. I'm not doing that. I swear to you. But the point is, I don't understand why it's just automatic that he starts these big games. The
guy delivers in big games.
What? Are you counting Spurs as a big game?
The guy delivers in big games.
Against
that was a big game. No. Five. That was a big game. That was
a big game because at the time it was a time.
All right. Okay. All right. Fine. Spurs is a big game. All right. What about City?
Yeah, that's a big game.
What happened?
Look, Fahy, brother, I'm on your side, my brother. I'm on your side.
What about Chelsea?
Fahy, I'm on your side.
No, he didn't score against Chelsea. We lost against Chelsea and won.
No, that was 1920. Yeah,
that was 1920 he scored. United, okay. The United game was, don't even count. That game, we know what happened, but let's not talk about it. Come on.
He danced, man.
He danced because, the United fans helped us out and kind of disrupted absolutely everything.
Arsenal, Leicester?
Do we really count Arsenal as a big game?
He didn't put. Did he actually score against Arsenal?
Doesn't even matter. Leicester, did he score against them?
Basically, the point I'm trying to make is, if you put them as a tag team in that number 9 role, I think it's beneficial to everyone.
I'll be honest. This might sound crazy, but I feel like you can play all 4 in some games. I feel like there were games where Firmino was playing really well in the number 10 with Salah up front. I love Diego Jota on the left. I wouldn't want him on the right. I don't think he's as natural there or even up front. On the left, he has a lot more freedom and he can kind of he's not about shimmies. He's straight bagging. So I like him from the left and Mane on the right because that's his natural position. I feel like there's going to be games where we can definitely play all 4. And I also feel like there's games where if Joe is in, I don't think he'll play the number 9 role. I disagree. I feel like he'll be on the left and Salah will have that right / in the middle role that him and Mane love to do. They love to interchange between being in the middle and being on the flanks. So yeah, let's just get Firmino out of it, man. Let's just start phasing him out because
it's a weird one because with Jota.
I want to add another component to the mix. What's to say that Minamino can't do some work at that position also?
Man just did a whole monologue about false images earlier about Keita, and then you want to talk a bit about Minamino. Get out.
Nah, I'm not gonna lie. Even Minamino, that's another one. You can't. He's not had a fair chance. I was
gonna say
that's one of the ones where, again, this is where it's evident that Klopp hasn't given certain guys chances. Like Minamino never got a chance. Let's be real, man. Like, yes,
okay. Well, what I say about Minamino is, do you guys see a pathway for him to succeed at Liverpool?
But I don't really see him as a he's supposed to succeed kind of player. I believe he's definitely been brought in as a squad player who's supposed to offer something different and fill in some games. I don't think we brought him in mind to be a superstar at all.
I think he can succeed. Perhaps your interpretation of success is different to others. However, I think he's shown that he definitely can contribute on a consistent scale. Maybe not so much, but I'm waiting to be proven wrong. He definitely deserves the opportunity. Like I don't think the situation between him and Keita is anywhere similar. Not at all. Like it's one thing coming over from Austria, if I'm not mistaken, coming over from there and
mid-season as well.
Mid-season and I'm playing for Liverpool, and that's in the title champ. That's in the Premier League winning Liverpool side, mind you. Another thing between Naby Keita coming when he had ample opportunity to not only get fit multiple times, get his diet. I don't know what the hell he's doing. I'm not gonna slew the fella, but I think the opportunities there are definitely different. Also, he went on loan for goodness sake. Like he was away for a good part of last season. Chris, you're being harsh. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. I'm not gonna on the Bobby point. I'm not gonna be as harsh because I think we're all at a point now where we know he does. I know it hurts probably to hear. I'm sorry, Chris, but he does need to be phased out. In my opinion, I don't think it makes sense to phase him out unless we have an actual number 9. That's my own opinion. I would love another number. It just makes sense to me. And then Jota could fill in at some points, but ideally it should be a new number 9, Mane, Salah. Perhaps Jota coming in if he hits a nice lovely patch like he did last year on the left or on the left hand side or the right hand side, whatever. That's my humble opinion. With just having Firmino and Jota perhaps interchange between number 9, that is not enough. Not in the slightest. If you're talking Salah maybe playing number 9, then Jota on the left, Mane on the right, that's different. That's a different question. But you're telling me Firmino and Jota? No. I don't even think Jota will get the chance to play number 9 as much as we expect it. I do not think that's enough. And that, I don't want to go like jump the gun because I don't know if you want to talk about transfers, Chris, but we need another striker, and I can't stress that enough.
Guys, quick question. Each of you, where do you think Jota's best position is? Chris, go first.
Through the middle.
So you're saying the middle, Julian's saying the left.
Yeah.
I'm saying
Harold. This is the thing. I don't even know what Jota's best position even is. I think the one thing that's good with him is, he's trying to grab a goal, and that's what you want from a forward. But in terms of actual position, it's up for debate, isn't it? Like, I personally think he's better on the left, but Chris is saying down the middle. So
you know what? The reason why I say left as opposed to middle, because how we play. If he's all I care about is if he's on the end of a chance. It just so happens that our wide forwards are on the end of opportunities. Mm-hmm. If he plays through the middle, he's on the end of chances, great. But that doesn't happen the way we play. They normally have to drop off and then create. And when Jota does that, we're looking at him like he doesn't look as good as what we saw on the left. Particularly like Atalanta. I think that was probably his best performance that he gave us away when we won 5-0. He was terrific off that left-hand channel. Always on the end of things. Final ball was coming to him, and his finishing was exquisite. That's my own opinion. He could be good in the middle, but we need to have someone feeding him so he doesn't have to do all the dirty work beforehand.
Yeah, off the left, he just loves to slap it in with his right. So
or left as well, because he's good with his left as well. Yeah.
So I like him. I think off the left, he has a lot more freedom. I feel like every time I see him like kind of operating the number 9 role, he looks very restricted. I feel like that was the case against Real Madrid. He looked lost. Like he looked like, nah, I'm trying to run channels instead of being in the middle, just waiting for the ball. Because I feel like he's a very active player, and especially with the way we play with our number 9s. Our number 9s, unless Firmino's in the midfield kicking shins, they're very mobile, and they're literally just kind of the number 9s to kind of get the ball, maybe pass it off, not really do much in terms of dribbling and being in part of the build-up play. But again, that could have been more of us being victims of injuries last season and us not being in the best form. So maybe his number 9, his time at number 9 wasn't at the best time to judge him. But off the left, from what I've seen, because to be honest, I never really watched him at Wolves. From what I've seen of him at Liverpool is where he operates at the best.
It's a quick one before we move on to transfers. Centre-back pairing for Norwich. Fahi, who are you going for?
You got to go with Konate and Matip, to be honest, purely based off fitness. I think it'd be stupid to play Van Dijk or Gomez.
Agreed.
Not me.
Yeah.
Oh, well, call me stupid, Fahi, but I can see Gomez and Konate starting.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with same as Fahi. Like I like with Matip, like he's just a cool head, a cool seasoned head. He's just calm and collected. And Konate may have some jitters, I don't know, but and also Matip can just leave Konate to go do whatsoever, and Matip can chill back knowing that Konate has the speed and athletic ability to get back in time. So yeah, I'm cool with that.
Shout out No Context Joe Matip on Twitter, by the way, possibly the greatest account ever known to man.
Van Dijk loves it as well.
Fantastic stuff. I think Matip has been absolutely brilliant preseason.
He's class, bro. He doesn't he's injured.
It's the thing when he's healthy, he's top 3 centre back in the league. I want to say
top 3. Go on, give it ya.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, he is because every time he has played, no doubt he's actually looked like after Van Dijk. Just goes to show the quality in the league. To be honest, he's literally looked like the second best in the league. I don't think there's been a lot of midfield. Laporte kind of had a run where he played pretty well, but even that wasn't when Matip was fit. So yeah, when Matip was fit, I think it was when we had the league run. He was looking amazing.
18-19, he was looking amazing.
18-19 as well. Yeah, so
he was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
No, he's looking good. I will say, Gomez yesterday looked very impressive.
Hey man, King of Lewisham.
Bro, I tweeted off the account earlier. Well, I think it might have been my account yesterday. He's been out for almost nearly a year, and somehow his range of passing seems to have improved.
Him and Van Dijk have been training together a lot, and I think it's clear to see. I mean, we all know they're good friends, but I think you can see like into some of the stuff he does, the way he's even connecting with the ball, it's very Van Dijk-esque actually. Now I think about it makes a lot of sense.
Quick Gomez section, but I definitely feel like his time going forward now, he's definitely going to have to show a lot more leadership because he's definitely. I think after Matip leaves, especially, he'll be the second most senior centre back at the club, and I feel like the time for him to kind of be under, obviously Van Dijk is still going to always be Van Dijk, but the time for him to be like, Van Dijk's little brother, the guy that Van Dijk is always looking out for, needs to come to an end naturally. He needs to become his own man. And I want to feel like, for example, if we have games, I feel like he showed this last season as well. But if we have games where Gomez is the starting centre back, we should be comfortable enough to be like, okay, we've got a leader and a leader at the back and an experienced centre back there. So big season for him as well, to be honest, if he can stay fit.
I just hope he gets. He's worked on his passing all well and good. I just hope he gets better in the air.
Yeah, I think so too. He definitely needs that.
So I'm just seeing a picture of Lionel Messi holding a PSG shirt that's got the number 30 on the back.
He's not taking number 10 in it. That's he came in the game, number 30. So he's
30 with the starting number.
Yeah.
And get that guy a basketball number, which is a bit mad. Speaking of transfers, seems like one person who was left out of the preseason game yesterday is on the verge of leaving. Anik, if he does leave, will be crying, inconsolable. He is his favourite player. It is Shaqiri, who could potentially joining Lyon on a permanent transfer. Again, that would open up one of the ever valuable homegrown player quota spots. Another person who's left out of the preseason action over the past 2 days was Nat Phillips as well, who's wanted by a whole host of clubs, Newcastle, Brighton, Burnley, and Bayer Leverkusen, which I thought was quite interesting. Again, he must have big fans in Germany still. And there is also Mr. Divock Origi, who is attracting the interest of West Ham. So he could be in a Stratford next to you soon. Stratford Westfields next to you soon. One person who I haven't heard from transfers from, the person who's currently sitting in the dark, I'm going to wait until we bring him in on this conversation because I know he's going to cut some mad promo. But Harold, I haven't actually heard your current frustrations or stance on what's going on with transfers at the moment. So I'm very keen to hear your point of view on the current situation and what you think we need first and foremost as well.
Okay. So, where do I begin? All right. Much like everyone else, I'm frustrated. Just so happens that work is so busy, I just don't have time to, at the point in which you guys are showing your frustrations, to reply in that moment. So by the time I've caught up, it's like, it's too late to then reply to so many things all at once. But anyway, forget the private stuff. I am annoyed, much like every other Liverpool fan. I'm torn between understanding this is how FSG work and just being like, you know what, I would love us to just I know it's contrary to how we've done things in the past, but I would love us to just make a move and spend some big money on a number 9, on a big player. Like, I know it's obsession with names, yes, this and that, but it just does something for morale. It makes you look way more forward to the season. It just does something for a fan. It's hard to explain. Like the buzz around when we got Thiago last season, and that was just Thiago, a 29, 30-year-old Thiago. That was after he's won everything. So who's anyway? Let me not get into that. So I'm frustrated, just like everyone else. I will begin by saying, who do we need to bring in? We need to bring in a number 9 for sure. Whether we need a Genie replacement, I'm not too fussed about that. If I'm I would like a midfielder. But contrary, actually, I would say I would like more focus to be placed on cover for our right back, because it's literally just Trent. Like, I don't trust anyone else to play right back other than Trent Alexander-Arnold, and that's sad. So a number 9, a midfielder, ideally. But if I choose between that and a backup right back, which that would be an insane weighing up of, I would choose the backup right back. But yeah, predominantly a bloody number 9 who scores goals. And yeah, no, I keep seeing Vlahovic being linked. Look, I keep seeing bangers. He's scoring loads of goals, like his goals per games, non-penalty goals. They all look great.
Linked by who, bro? It's only people in the chat. There's no.
That's what I'm. Fahi, first of all, Fahi, calm down. Okay?
Nah, man, I'm done with this shit.
Second of all, that's what I was referring to. Linked by us fans, and that's. I look. Listen, with me, I'm too much of a sober head. I'm an accountant. If you don't really know this, to be getting angry and frustrated by things, knowing that I'm only going to end up with a headache afterwards. Fahi, on the other hand, is this cool creative guy in a Lakers jersey in his massive estate in Compton. I'm joking. I know why I say Compton. But he's much different to me, right? So get ready for some shouting. Fahi, over to you.
What's there to say? Like, what do you want me to say? Like, there's nothing to discuss about this window. It's been a disgrace. And there's 20 days. So I'm told,
Fahi, sign anyone.
20 days. Wait 20 days, see what happens. Something's going to happen soon.
Do you think we'll sign anyone?
What is going to happen?
Do you think we'll sign anyone?
Yes.
Oh, okay. What's probably
I do think we're going to sign someone, but my issue is not who it is and if we are or if we're not. My issue is when we're doing it. It's clear as day we need to make signings, and we're waiting until the last 20 days of the fucking transfer window to do it. We're starting off another season with the same old players plus Kanate. You're not giving Klopp the chance to bed in these players properly. It's fucking nonsense. It doesn't actually make sense. Why are we doing it? For what? We're waiting for an extra 0.5 million for Shaqiri. Is that what it is? And we're saying, Nat Phillips has loads of suitors. Well, why is no one making a bid? This is the thing. So we're told these stories of, Wilson has loads of people that wanted him, and we ended up selling him for like 11 mil, right? But last season we rejected 15 mil. We've ended up selling him for 11 mil. You've got Shaqiri, who we've been trying to sell for 3 summers. That's not even an over-exaggeration. We've literally been wanting to sell him for 3 summers. We tried to sell him last year. We tried to sell him the year before. We're trying to sell him this year. And now what? We're stuck selling him for less than we actually bought him for. And what are we going to do with that money? Who are we going to sign? We're going to sign a centre mid. Apparently, Neuhaus isn't going to happen because the amount of money that we're willing to pay, they're not happy with. But Chris is still a bit optimistic about that signing. And he thinks probably it can happen. So I'm looking to him to see whether he thinks it can still happen or not.
Right, don't aggregate that on me, you bastard.
No, not in a bad way. Not in a bad way. As in the sense of you do think that it could possibly still happen, right?
Yeah. I think when they did when you have James Pearce make a whole profile piece on him, and it does seem as though he's the number 1 target for central midfield, fits the category that you need. He can cover number 6 when needed. He can play a bit more further forward. It just ticks all the boxes.
Yes. So, all right, let's say, for example, we get centre mid in, and now we're being linked to about 5 different wide forwards. So it's like, Where are we going with? Like, why can't we get these players in earlier to save what? 0.5, 1 million, 2 mil. Like, all right, yeah, to us that's a lot of money, but to the club itself, surely getting them in earlier is more valuable than saving that 1.5 or 2 mil and waiting an extra 40, 50 days to bring them in to just save that amount of money. Like, you're not giving Klopp what he needs to succeed. You're making him work for it every single summer. And I don't get why we're having to do it. All of our age mates are spending money. All of our age mates went through COVID. We all have gone through it. So why is it only us that seems to be impacted? We were sold a dream that, once we make it to the big leagues, once we win everything, once we get the merchandise deals, it's going to mean X, Y, Z. Drake is going to wear the shirt. Serena's going to wear the shirt. This is going to get us even more sales, make us big in America. We're going to be able to buy this player, that player. Certain journalists were saying a big signing is coming. LFC are, getting ready for this signing. Where the fuck are these signings? What happened?
You go to Hollywood, baby. You're going to be a star.
Bruh, they sold us dreams. And don't think this was their opinion. LFC were telling them to say it. Like, this is obviously information the club was given to these journalists to tell them, look, we're bracing ourselves for a big summer, a big 2021, a big 2020. All these players are going to come in, or we're looking to buy someone big. Yet all these players are available and we're not signing them. All the best prospect players are literally available right now and we're not signing them. Haaland is available. We're not signing him. Sancho was available for 75 mil. Doesn't matter about the wages, but he was actually available. We still didn't sign him. Mbappe is available. We're not even, I don't know what's going on with that one. He's got 12 months remaining. What are we doing? Like, unless they somehow shock me, and in the last 20 days we somehow sign Mbappe, it's been a disgraceful summer. Like, there's so many windows I've defended the club and FSG because it's like, you know what? I understood last summer because of the pandemic and everything. It's a bit hard to kind of work around it. But based on what happened last summer, surely you'd know, okay, well, this is going to continue for a while. Let's kind of rejig what we're going to do and make it make sense. But we've not done that. It just seems as if we've been super reactive. We're waiting for other clubs to make moves just so then there's a piece available for us to take. And that's not what a big club should be doing. That's not what Liverpool should be doing, especially when we're trying to fight for titles. And especially since we've just won the Champions League and the Premier League in the past couple of years. Why are we now still continuing on like a top 4 club?
So I will do the counteracting point to that in regards to the age mates making moves. And this isn't even me saying it off the I believe it kind of thing, but I'm basically saying what Mike or Ellis would say. The people who are making moves are either backed by a sovereign wealth or, Russian oligarchs, essentially. And they're the people who are making these big money moves. Mm-hmm. And we are still trying to do that thing where we're living within our means, which you look at the state of football at the moment, you see Inter Milan going bust. Again, Inter Milan is an opportunity where we probably should be taking full advantage of it. They need the fucking money. I mean, the Lukaku deal itself, they still owe Man United money on that. And then the rest of that's probably going to go into operating costs for the club. There's an opportunity to go and get a Barella there.
That's the one that's killing me. That's the one that's actually hurting. That hurts. I can't lie. The Barella one hurts because Inter Milan are a joke. They just won the league and they're just sold their what do they call it in Serie A? The MVP of and I think that was Lukaku if I'm not mistaken. And now you're telling me that we can't buy from this team. We can't buy a player like Barella who saw ball out for the whole of the Euros. Like,
yeah, I stayed quiet throughout.
You know what the funny thing? You know what the funny thing about the Barella thing would be? They would probably take money on Neco Williams for him because they need a right back.
Yeah, I was just saying.
I'm not even saying that off some like just par him off shit. I read an interview with an Inter Milan journalist, and they said, Ashley Young left, which was quite funny. And obviously Hakimi went to PSG again, and they need a right back. And he went, "Oh yeah, Neco Williams actually be quite good." And I was like, okay, that's your opinion. But yeah, we'll go for it. So there is an opportunity to kind of part with money and a player to get a superstar. But yeah, it just is what it is for that situation. Sorry, Julie. Go on.
Yeah, I was gonna say I let I let Fahy and Harold have their say because obviously we've been speaking about transfers for the last 2 weeks. But yeah, again, I'm totally on board with Fahy and what he said. The frustration is definitely there because I kind of feel more frustrated with the fans at this point more than the actual club themselves, because I feel like if the club is feeding you shit for so long and you keep eating it, you can only look at the people that are eating the shit and look at them sideways like, why are you still eating this shit? Because I definitely feel like we give, or not even that we give, the club, the fans make up excuses for the club. Like, really and truly, we don't really know why we're not buying any players. Apart from Klopp coming out and saying a couple of days ago, he came out in an interview and said, yeah, we looked at players. But the market is difficult, blah 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 blah, the usual bullshit. So I interpret that as we had a look at the market. We tried to make some bids. The clubs weren't having it; they weren't accepting our terms, and we kept it moving. I feel like this we need to shift Origi and Shaq before we buy players is it's a crock of rubbish, to be honest. I feel like the club is waiting on the best possible prices for players that are not of any value, really and truly.
So I'm going to flip that on its head. I'm going to go back to Fahy on it. Do you think they're being too clever with the way that clubs have been affected more than obviously us by COVID and league in particular? Do you think they're being a bit too clever and then waiting for teams to get desperate to say, okay, cool, we'll submit to Liverpool terms on structuring of deals for our players?
Bro, what is clever about struggling to sell players for about 2 years?
No. I'm not about our players. I'm on about us signing players. So So do you think we're being a bit too clever in, all right, cool, they're not agreeing to our terms on signing these players for the way that we want to structure deals. Let's wait until they're feeling the crunch even more till the last 2 weeks of the window, and then they'll go, okay, they'll coming back hat in hand, like Kabak for instance.
He's available for half the price.
He's available. Apparently, he was available for free, and we even said no.
It's mad.
Which is mad still. But are we trying to be a bit too clever and wait it out, where we could potentially end up with nothing?
No, because I think if push comes to shove, these guys will just end up kind of coming to some type of compromise and getting these players in, even if it's not to the agreement they currently want. And that's not my complaint. My only complaint is we're just not giving Klopp what he needs. Like, we're for who we are right now and for the dire situation so many clubs are in, we should be able to strong arm them into these deals. We should be able to push our weight about and be like, you know what, fuck this. You need the money. Bang, this is it.
Even not where we are, even as a Premier League club, we've seen that the Premier League teams have made vastly more money than the teams around the world. Like, I can put my hand on heart that Aston Villa had a healthier year than Barcelona, Real Madrid, PSG, etc., etc. And that's why
I think Man in his overdraft has had a better comfortable year than Barcelona.
Yeah, like and with the way we've been set up with the TV deals, just us being a richer league in general, we got teams like Aston Villa going into Bayern Leverkusen and bullying them out of selling and to sell one of their best players. I mean, Leon Bailey. You're telling me that Liverpool Football Club can't go to Borussia Mönchengladbach and get Neuhaus for whatever price they're quoting? Like, I'm sure that I'm personally not buying it. I feel like, again, we've been fed a crock of shit of that. And also our fans and I think our club have been sipping a bit too much of their own Kool-Aid. They've had a system that's worked, to be fair. I'm not going to dispute that, of strong arming teams, also selling well enough to actually make a profit on players. But that time has come to an end, and I feel like there needs to be a change of strategy. So yeah, Liverpool need to really, really, really put their foot out the rust. That honestly, getting Niehaus or Vlahovic or whoever these guys won't really get the best reaction out of me. But if they was able to pull off a big signing, Champions League level signing, that would be amazing. So we need to see some movement, man.
The thing is, Julian, you know what's going to happen. We're going to sign like a Neuhaus or someone, and Mike and Ellis are going to start talking slick about you guys didn't trust the process. You see, we got the man on a good dip. Like, shut up, man. Shut up.
We know the thing is, we know that's the process though, and we're frustrated at that being the process. That's the thing that's annoying us. Like, we're frustrated that yes, we know we're going to get these players, but why does it take us until the last 2 weeks of a window to wrap these up? And then they're going to come in, and then when they start rubbish, everyone's going to be like, they need time to settle. And now you're spending the whole year fighting faceless Twitter accounts, trying to defend your new signing because they didn't get time to set in. Like, it's all a cycle. But again, it will probably, and even though I believe we will win the League or Champions League this year, if one of those players do come in, Michael Ellis will be like, Neeks, you see, we won the league, we won the Champions League, and these guys were here, and we signed them in the last 2 weeks of the window. Like that's what we're really getting at. Like, nah, I'm not gonna be happy if these guys, unless it's honestly the level of Mbappe or a Champions League or a certified bagsman or a certified centre mid that we know of, that's of the level, that's at a big club that we're bringing in. Nah, man, I'm not having it. These second string diamond in the rough guys is not enough for the company men to come on the group chat and start chatting shit. I'm actually.
Can I just add one more thing, Julian, before we wrap up? I just want to say one thing. One thing I've noticed online and just in general with our fan base is if you talk against FSG, it means you're not supporting the boys. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Are you sick? Like, am I saying I'm not going to support the boys? Like, are
exactly.
you? I don't understand how those two even combined together. It's not even a thing.
Even in the group chat, they'll actually act like because we're against FSG, we actually want Liverpool to lose, so we can just be like, yeah, you see, yeah, and we actually don't want signings to happen, so we can be like, you see, come on, guys, hate FSG now because we're right and you're wrong, and now we've got no signings. Yeah, like that. You know how dumb that sounds.
It's not even the same thing. Like, we're discussing two different things. It's so bizarre, man. Oh, fucking hell. Listen. I'm certain we will sign a couple of players. But yeah, I'm just not happy with the way we go about it. Like, Julian complained last season. I was a bit more forgiving last season based off the situation everyone was in. This season, I'm not forgiving. I just think it's been pathetic.
I like how Fahy went really Asian earlier when fucking hell, man.
Fucking hell, man.
But yeah, you really have turned to an uncle since you've been gone. I love it. Quick round robin. Two players. What two players do you think we'll end up with? Whoever you think. Fahy?
I'm just going to say Neuhaus and Jared Bowen.
Oh, bloody hell. Julian? Jared Bowen?
And you know what? I want to say Neuhaus, but I'm going to be honest with you. In my heart of hearts, I actually don't believe we're going to get him. I believe it's just a name that everyone just decided to bring up because it sounds nice. And Rafinha, I can see that happening. I definitely feel like that's the type of low key signing where things are being worked out in the background, where Leeds are not saying much, Liverpool are not saying much, and that can happen. So Rafinha and Neuhaus.
Harold?
Sorry, Chris. Do you mind repeating the question?
You sound depressed, Harold.
Are you okay?
You guys have taken all the life out of me, man. Here are you guys. All my hope is gone. What will you say, Chris?
What two players do you think will sign by the end of the window?
What two players? I can barely muster up one. I see a lot of reports with Neuhaus. I hope I pronounced your name well. And Vlahovic. I mean, who's to say they don't go on and sign Ellis, for goodness sake? They don't know what they do. Like,
you actually sound so defeated after
Good. Harold, welcome.
That's how we feel.
The hand is out. The hand is out.
It's there. It's there.
I can't accept. I can't. Not yet. Not yet. But that's it, I guess. Those are the names that keep flying around in our group chat. That is all from me.
Some of the Patreon shows that we do have coming next week are what we kind of banned as the NWO of Kop End Fracas, which includes two of the men in this podcast at the moment, Fahi and Julian. They'll be kind of go into a little bit more detail on this, where they can kind of fully rant and vent about the current situation and how they feel. And then we will have the company men, Ellis and Mike, going into more detail on how they feel about the situation. Again,
Just Ellis and Mike, Krish.
I'm a neutral party, you know what I mean?
No, Harold, you know what it is? There was a lot of company men at the start of the summer, but then slowly but surely, reality started to set in. Chris was one of them. Marco was one of them. Peter, that little Jezzy, bruv. Like, he acts like he's, I'm neutral. Bruv, I saw that. Switching sides like a hoe, bruv. But anyway, him, Marco, Chris, who else was there?
David is still there.
Like them man there. And then as the summer progressed and reality started to hit and August hit, I saw Chris be like, you know what, yeah? This side here is a bit smelly still. I saw Peter, I'm mutual, man. I'm mutual. Like, you guys are just moaning. I'll see you at the end of the window. And I definitely see Marco. I saw it. He asked for the invitation to the NWO, and we told him, listen, don't call us. We'll call you back. That
was the funniest response I've ever seen, because he couldn't even reply back.
Don't call us. We'll call you. So I'm telling you, bruv, it's only, and even now, I can feel Mike that his neck is hot.
I fucking told you lot in the week about Mike. I was like, the little heel turn he's trying to do. His neck is getting hot.
Ellis is trying to firm it with a kind of fuming. I can't lie. But Mike, I can see it in his eyes. If we don't make a signing, he's gonna be heartbroken. But he's confident that we'll make a signing, and he's gonna try hold on to the fact of, we got Niehaus. You see, you had to wait. But I can see it in his eyes that he's angry as well. But he just doesn't want to admit it. But yeah, man, hold tight the compliment, man. Look forward to the Patreon.
But on that Patreon, Krish, I'll be looking at both sides. I'll be listening to both the company men and the NWO, and then making my decision thereafter. I might have to do it back to back. I might have to do one verse each and see what happens.
We'll have Harold's the LeBron decision. Man, I can't believe I'm doing this.
I'll be like this.
Good stuff. And of course, that will only be available on the Kop End Fracas Patreon page. So do head over to www.patreon.com/Kop End Fracas and sign up from as little as £3 a month today. As you can see, all of our collective screens are getting a little bit darker now. It's that time where we come to an end. Thank you very much for tuning in this week to the Kop End Fracas flagship podcast. Please do leave us a generous review on whichever platform you're listening to or watching this on. And we will see you next week as Liverpool will have played their first game of the Premier League for the new season. Will we be celebrating? Will we be in tears? Who knows? Will people be scrapping even more? That's the real thing that you want to be. That's what you really want to see, isn't it? To be fair, people scrapping it. So, be tuned in for that. From myself, Krish, Fahi, Juliet, and Harold, we will see you next week. Have a good weekend.